You're welcome back. Now, scores of residents in the coastal community of Glefee in the Ablekuma West municipality of the Greater Accra region have been rendered homeless after violent tidal waves destroyed their houses last week. The only health facility in the area risks collapse as work on the Dansuman Sea defense has stalled for more than 2 years. The affected residents, mainly women and children, say they've been forced to sleep outside at the mercy of the weather. For Joy in My Community this week, Manuel Karanting visited the Glefee area. Here's his report.
Glefee is a coastal community which lies about 100 meters north of the Atlantic Ocean. There are no government schools here, no government hospitals, or even government-controlled public toilets. Unemployment is quite high in this area too. While they grapple with these challenges, there's another one which is threatening their very lives and livelihoods. Tidal waves. Violent, destructive, and ferocious tidal waves. Every week, at least 5 houses here are washed into the sea by the tidal waves. This is as a result of rising sea levels occasioned by climate change. Not even the sea defense project here has prevented buildings from being washed away by the sea. I meet 34-year-old Stephen Wasey, whose house is one of the recently affected structures. He lived in this partly demolished chamber and hall structure with his wife and 8-year-old daughter.
For years, ni buildings here. Properties it has been here for long.
But he is not alone. Kwesi, his neighbor, has been up since 3 a.m. planting beams to support the fast eroding foundation of his building.
As you can see, the way the waves is, it's very, very, very scary. But what will you do? I have a 2-year kid, very, very young, who is with me, and it's not safe for her.
The kids here are literally petrified. They look on helplessly as the only places they have known to be home continue to be broken away, building after building.
To commit is a comatu affair, but terminating baby Ameda. And I'm more than one Ameda, and you may said I knew. And I'm never my minimum papa in my appear. Yeah, but she not dining in the but now want to my dead chain. I said I may go school.
If you say, it's only basa. Only stars have a dining bubu. Dine a jarabi wa Yoana ena baku bubu aside no bubu ye yet na ona ena san bubu ye na ye nyina si anka obi wo anka we etoni so anka se nipa ne wewu ana.
This 2-kilometer sea defense project is being executed by Sidalco Construction Limited, partly to reclaim some of the lost land and also protect the buildings along the coastline from the devastation of the ocean. Work started here in November 2015 and was to be completed by 2018. But that was not to be, as several challenges including logistical constraints and issues of payment certificates delayed the completion of the project up until now. Charles Owusu is the assemblyman for the Glefee electoral area.
And they told us that the sea level is higher than the community. So if we can stay safe here, unless they construct a sea defense for us. Since the construction of the sea defense, you see they started from Glefee enclaves. And now here is Akwetema, but they have stopped here. So we called on our MP, which is in the person of Honorable Esla Usu. And she came here last time with, I think, the housing minister or so. And they came and looked at it, and then they said, okay, government have awarded the contract to that same contractor, but the contractor said they need clearance before they can continue the job. So that is how far we have gotten to. People are losing their homes. Families have been broken into parts because when a whole house, I think a lot of houses are in the sea now. Where we are standing here, what we are seeing all is here is in the sea. The homes have been collapsed already, but the contractor also made us know that we shouldn't build, from now onwards, we shouldn't build closer to the defense, let's say 30 meters. We should stay away from like a buffer zone, 30 meters. We should give a 30 meters space. So as you can see, me and the assembly, and the municipal assembly and the chiefs, we decided that then we are going to use coconut trees to make some boundary that nobody is going to come beyond the coconut tree, so that the 30 meters can be reserved.
Soon, we meet Stephen again. The tidal waves have wreaked more havoc since our last visit. This time, he's visibly livid.
Near the agency, I couldn't stop. It will never stop near being any beam fit there. I'm a very right. I come out, Chaniano. Well, if time I'm here. That's a voting time. I'm by near back. I'm about free campaign. One mammy. One mammy. Oh, can't care. I'm a banana about your own way. Joe, I am about what did the man with all? I'm about coming about. I'm money now.
I'm about you. I'm
for how long? For how long? Because it has been almost 5 good years. And we are born struggle more. He's away. Assemble my away. Anytime need pressure about more or less. We can few around. Say, none you have never like me, Malelo. For how long? Many improvements, down the one struggle. Down it. Nekemaja nutu money or bomo nye yampune atos kanebasian because we say back be no buyer we are dem no na about only be ya e for na kan ni youth no one struggle man me ewa mo ni one bomo de ni what survive akusa ke add pressure to our problem every blessed day no ko fitio nekeson ne ya no o lente down be one struggle one feel one be one on one. Nka you back finance minister nya sign alo e ke sign ko we take 10 years na na e ke sign ke wo fita man bia here be ba che amba na.
So that's an agitated resident in the area who just venting his spleen indeed about the delay of the project. His concern is that the project has been constructed up until a certain point and the rest have been left. He says he's in fact questioning why they have to be left to their fate to continue to suffer, as it were, to be doing their own manual sea defense project. And he admits that the strength that they have is nothing compared to what the sea is bringing, and makes reference to the several visits by politicians and other leaders who come here to canvass for votes, but when these issues happen, are nowhere to be found. He is indeed calling for urgent action for the issue to be resolved. In less than 24 hours after our last visit to the shore, these two buildings have all collapsed, and as you saw in the previous shot, we're just right here speaking about the devastation.
The contractor has had cause to alter the design of the remaining 400 meters to allow for a landing site for the fishermen in the area. The spot for the intended landing site dovetails into the piece of land which houses the only medical facility in the area, the Royal Memorial Hospital. The hospital stands just some 10 meters away from the last standing structure at the shore. The nurses here practically work in fear. Dorcas Mensah is one of the nurses at the surgical theatre of the facility.
Some time ago, we were having a case done at a theatre whilst we've cut a patient's abdomen open, and then all of a sudden we had a shake in the ground, and everything, the towels and then the bed the patient was on, everything sank down, which was very scary.
This 2-kilometer sea defense project is being executed by Sidalco Construction Limited, partly to reclaim some of the lost land and also protect the buildings along the coastline from the devastation of the ocean. Work started here in November 2015 and was to be completed by 2018. But that was not to be, as several challenges including logistical constraints and issues of payment certificates delayed the completion of the project up until now. Charles Owusu is the assemblyman for the Glefee electoral area.
And they told us that the sea level is higher than the community. So if we can stay safe here.
Right, that's Manuel Cranting's report from Glefee. Now, in the interim, what's being done to protect the few houses left? Public Relations Officer of the Ministry of Works and Housing, Elvis Ajay-Ba, has been providing some answers.
It has come to our notice, and as the Assemblyman rightly said, the Honourable Minister has gone to the site as part of his talk last month, and he himself recognized the devastating nature of the residents, and he has acknowledged that whatever that government has to do to ensure that that part of the project is completed. We'll do. Remember, this project is a two-phase project. The first one, or the phase one, as we put it, was a 2-kilometer project. So if you recall, if you would listen to the residents, they acknowledge that some, let's say, pump roads, all those parts have been completed and that the residents are okay. It's left with that portion. And that is what the Honourable Minister has assured that very soon, because it's very urgent, it's an urgent situation that needs an attention, and that as soon as possible, he has to activate the process to ensure that the contractor actually comes back to site and then that work on that.
Okay, so Elvis, let's get a bit of clarity, because the Assemblyman indicated that that project has been awarded to the same contractor, except that the contractor said he has not been given the clearance. What's the position?
Exactly what I'm saying, that, it's a process. When you want to award a contract, it's a process. We have to initiate the commencement certificate with the Ministry of Finance, and that is what the Honourable Minister has done, and that I can assure that very soon the resident will be the sigh of relief with the coming of the contractor on site.
Okay, so in the interim, as the people are still faced with this challenge, what's the arrangement in the meantime?
Well, you see, the design of this project, or this defense project, in such a way that I perfectly agree, or I share the sentiment of the people, because, like I said, once it's a two-phase project and you have almost completed about 95% of the phase one done, obviously, from a layman's view, you could clearly see that the branch of the sea will now shift